let us share with you our experiences as two Malaysian tourists staying in Paris for about 5 weeks. Yeah, and since we're a food channel, let's start with the food. In general, good quality food for sure. In terms of the ingredients quality, it's just significantly better than what you can get in Malaysia. And the thing that hits me the most is the bread and pastries. Actually, like their croissants, their baguettes are just really good in general. It's not difficult to find good bread lah in France, and their pastries are also very beautiful. There are quite a few popular pastry shops, and they're all very good, very tasty as well.
And also very easy to find patisserie and boulangerie here.
Yeah, it's like every corner you get one, and generally they're decent lah. Can range from decent to good. Yeah. How about the general French food in, I think what they call like brasseries, right? I would say it's a mixed bag. Yeah, honestly it's a mixed bag. You can get good ones, you can get mediocre ones, you can get really bad ones. For those of you who do not know, generally those food are like you know, really Western, like duck confit. You can have beef bourguignon,
onion soup,
onion soup, steak and fries. So if you are like, you know, very Asian like us and you crave for noodles and rice, you are in for a rude awakening. I mean, there are Chinese food here, but it's not very good lah, trust us. Of course, there are also some like street food that we have tried that is quite good, like crepes and galettes and sandwiches. Some of them are really delicious, and I think, you know, if you're here, you should definitely try them out. Now, the thing that we are mainly here for is actually the fine dining scene, and we've tried quite a few. I would say really good, especially the Michelin-starred ones. I strongly recommend, if you're coming to Paris and you're very interested in food and you want to learn about, you know, French cuisine, save up and come for, you know, the Michelin-starred ones, whether it's modern French or traditional French, classic French, it doesn't matter, especially the 2 to 3 star establishments. It's just very different. You will blow your mind. Trust me on this one.
And a lot of these restaurants need to reserve.
Yeah, the Michelin ones definitely you have to reserve. Even the better like normal restaurants, you have to reserve. I noticed this their system here, like it's very little queuing, a lot of reservation you need to make. So keep that in mind. Okay, talking about food, right? There's one thing that I gotta point out is about Google reviews, right? I noticed they suffer the same problem as Malaysia because it's not reliable. Trust me, there are places that score really high and their food is like, and there are places that score really low, but they have really good food. Now I think that's roughly it for food in Paris. Now let's talk about cost of living, and this really hits hard for us Malaysians.
The cost here actually is pretty expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah, unless you want to spend your money only in baguette and croissant.
Yeah.
If not, for normal brasserie, one main and one starter, it will cost you maybe
I think about like
40?
easily 20 to 40 euros.
Yeah.
And there's a normal place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the pastries as well. Like normal pastries, I think it's around like 4 to 7 euros. Some of them could go up to like 18 euros to 20 euros.
Yeah.
So it's really expensive. Yeah, the good ones. So it's really expensive, especially when the ringgit is 1/5 of the euro dollar.
Also, the accommodation is high price here.
Yeah, very expensive. Very expensive.
Like for our area, the Republic area, the hotel costs about 170 to 200.
Yeah, 100%.
But this is the small hotel cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, of course, I also understand that you can definitely find cheaper accommodations, maybe in further precincts and the hostels and whatnot. But based on what we read online, it's not the safest. Yeah, and there are break-ins in these places and certain areas. And because we are carrying quite a bit of camera gear around.
And this is our first time.
Yeah, it's our first travel in 2 years. So yeah, we really want to stay on the safe side, which is why it's pretty costly for us. Yeah. Okay, with the cost out of the way, what can you enjoy in Paris aside from food? I would say if you love architecture, if you love museums, like art museums and any sort of museums, Paris is your, I guess it's your playground.
Yeah, and also the park gardens.
Oh yes. Yeah. But don't come during winter lah. Winter. I mean, if you saw our food vlogs, you will know winter is. So
all the trees bought up.
Yeah, all the trees are bought up, which means bald in Malay. Yeah. So come during spring or summer, I don't know. But yeah, definitely if you like museums, this place is for you. Louvre is very nice.
Yeah, you will enjoy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't forget about you, shopaholics. People who buy luxury products, like, you know, all those brands, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Hermes, Dior. This is probably the place that you want to come to, because I think you get like what, between 10 to 13 or 14% tax refund. Yeah, and certain brands have sales as well. I don't know, maybe once a year or twice a year. So yeah, I don't know. Come here, buy your Birkin, buy your Kelly. But not for us, we're just foodies. We only queue for food.
Yeah. And one thing here, they really like dogs. They'll bring the dogs to everywhere, even shopping mall.
Yeah. I mean, like, it can be a high-end mall, you will see dogs.
Yeah.
And they are really nice dogs, really cute, really beautiful dogs. But yeah, that's one thing. If you are not a dog person, good luck to you.
And the last, during the trip, meeting the people just like coin flip situation.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we have only been here for 5 weeks, so it is probably a very personal experience and probably biased. So fellow Parisians, let us know. So basically, you either meet really nice, friendly people, or you meet really rude people. Even if we are not filming, you know, you go in as a customer, and you know, you go in, you tell them bonjour or bonsoir, and they just give you like the very straight face. And I think straight face is fine, but sometimes we have come across people who they really make you feel as uncomfortable as they can, and you feel really like, you know, weird. So let us know if that is the common situation in Paris. But I finally understand why foreigners that come to Malaysia always say that, oh, Malaysians are so friendly, Malaysians are so friendly. In comparison, I have to agree. But it's, again, a very limited exposure for us, just two of us.
Yeah, and in only 5 weeks.
Yeah, only 5 weeks. So we could be totally wrong. Let us know if we are. So yeah, I guess that about sums up our 5 weeks in Paris, and also draws a close to our food discovery experience in Paris. Hope you enjoyed this food vlog. If you did, do consider giving us a thumbs up. If you yet to subscribe, do consider subscribing and hit that notification bell button. Till you next week in Malaysia. Bye bye.